Alright guys, we are going to be talking about a very interesting topic among all Dolphins fans, and I think it's very interesting for a lot of reasons because it affects the future of the Miami Dolphins. Now, when you think about the offensive line of the Miami Dolphins, you think of, I think, one of the first things that comes to mind, at least for me anyways, is not inconsistency, but inconsistency to say healthy, I think is the best, obviously the best word to say it. Reliability comes to mind. Consistency comes to mind at the guard spots. And there's a bunch of question marks there that we need to figure out for sure before free agency starts. Not only that, but what comes to mind when I think about our offensive line now is cap space, because we could free up, I think, I can't remember how much it was, if we were to cut Brandon Albert. Now, when you think about this now, I don't know how many supporters there are of Brandon Albert out there. I think he was a very good Dolphin for the time that he spent with us. Obviously, the biggest thing that has hurt his career is obviously staying healthy. He really didn't stay healthy with the Chiefs, and when he came to Miami, he's kind of the same way. This was probably his healthiest season, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to go back and I'm just saying that off the cuff right now. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that this was his healthiest season. And even then, he was banged up most of the year. He wasn't healthy. And when I say healthy, he actually played games. I think he missed 4 games this year, which is still a lot of games. I mean, it's not all because offensive linemen get hurt like crazy, but when you compare him to like Tyron Smith, some of these kinds of people, some of these guys are Joe Thomas. Now Joe Thomas is a special, like that's never gonna happen again probably, where you never misses a snap of football since you were drafted. I'm not you don't expect that from a player, but when you think of our offensive line, I think one of the most, like, just one of the biggest reasons and the hardest things, well, the biggest reasons it fails is its health. And I do think Laramie is a better left tackle than Brandon is right now. I think his reliability is better. I think he's healthier, obviously. I think his talent, he's way more talented than Brandon. He's more athletic, he's stronger, he's quicker. I think if we put Laramie, first of all, not only was he drafted at obviously one of the best prospects in the NFL draft. When Tennessee had the number 1 overall pick, they were going to take him before obviously all the trades went down. But Laramie was the number 1 prospect on a lot of people's boards, including the Miami Dolphins. So if it wasn't for the mask video, who knows where he would have got drafted. But not only do we draft him, but he plays out of position at guard, and he wins AFC Rookie of the Year. And he performs. He's one of the best. He makes all rookie team. I think he made it for Football Focus's all rookie team, which is pretty impressive. So that's pretty impressive. That is really impressive for somebody not even playing their same position. Not only that, but he's a rookie. That's a lot of praise right there. So you look at that, you look at the talent that we have there, and obviously we drafted the man to play left tackle. And when you look at Brandon, and this doesn't just involve Brandon, because we've talked about this before, guards are so deep in this year's free agency class that if we wanted to, now this would cost a lot of cap, and there's also obviously there's places we have to fill, whether that be re-signing Andre Branch or going elsewhere with defensive end or getting 2 new starting linebackers. Those are the things that we really need to focus on. But guard, I think Jermon Bushrod is a very inconsistent player. I think even when you point out his best games that he had last season, not very impressive. He's obviously an older guy. But he's older. I think he's pretty inconsistent. I think we should move on from him. Go out and get a younger guard who's way more talented, who's gonna cost a little bit. But and then again, to kind of reel this all back, if you do cut Brandon, right, then you kick out Laramie, and then there's obviously a guard spot open there. But I'm not a big fan of Jermon Bushrod at all. I think that is a liability. So realistically, if you were to do that, I think you would have to replace both guards. Now, I know a lot of Dolphins fans, when they hear that, they don't want to hear that. But I do think it's important for our success on offense. I really do. And if we can figure that out, I think we're going to take a step forward in this upcoming season, whether we have them or not. But we will we will be one of the best offenses. I think if we get those 2 guards spots figured out, whether we do cut Brandon this year, and if we don't, I don't know, because you can't rely on him, and then that brings up depth issues that we have already. Who will start at guard? If we have to kick out Laramie to left tackle. That's the kind of problems I do not want to deal with this upcoming season. Because last season that cost us games when Laramie slips in a shower, for God's sakes, and Brandon, I think he was sick with the flu or something. We missed that, and they missed that Tennessee game. If you watch that Tennessee game, there was no chance that our offensive line was blocking. I think that was Dallas Thomas and Billy Turner's last game as a Miami Dolphin, and rightfully so. But that cannot happen again, and it shouldn't happen. And I think that would be the best. Now you could say we could just get depth. I think we should just get better players. It is. I think if we kick out Laramie, and I think we could go get two pretty dang impressive starting guards, because free agency, the guards are pretty dang deep, and they're really young. So I think it's a good idea. I think obviously there's problems with that theory, and I'm not saying that it's realistic, because I don't think the Dolphins would do that. They might. I know they'll probably look into it. I just don't think they'll do it. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But that is a very big question mark that has to be answered. And if it's not answered soon, well, it's going to be. Obviously, we don't. Free agency's quite a ways away. But hopefully we can figure this out and we do it in the right way. And if not, we don't even have to sign like two guards. Signing two new guards to an offensive line, that's a big move. But we saw how the Raiders, they got two new offensive linemen in free agency. Look at their offensive line; it's the highest paid in the NFL. If you saw what happened when Osemele missed a game. They couldn't score. They were just not the same offense. You get those two elite guys since it's such a pass-happy league, since the defensive linemen are so athletic in today's NFL. It's very hard to be a successful offense with at least average to very good to elite offensive linemen. It's hard to be one of the best teams in the NFL. If you look at all the playoff teams in the NFL. In the AFC, the Steelers have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. They probably have the best pulling athletic with David Castro and Pouncey. Are you kidding me? Those guys guarded, and Alejandro Villanueva. So they have a really good offensive line. You go down to Kansas City's probably the weakest out of the group that obviously made it. So you look at all these teams. I'm not even going to talk about Houston. Houston's got an easy division. But you look at the teams that have success. They have great offensive lines. You look at the people, obviously in the Super Bowl, or even in the NFC Championship game. You have the Green Bay Packers, who have probably the best pass-blocking offensive line in the NFL. You have the Atlanta Falcons, the most reliable most reliable offensive line in the NFL. They probably have, if not, I don't think he's the best center, because I think if Mike was healthy, I think he's a little bit better. But he's probably right now the best center in the NFL. You look at the Patriots. They have a young guard there. Their offensive line, I think they have fixed issues there. They're one of the best pulling guard teams in the NFL now. So, and that had a lot to do with LeGarrette Blount having all those touchdowns. So you look at, I think it's very important that we fix this in some way. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I don't believe I don't believe in drafting guards. I think especially early on. Now, there are some good offensive linemen in this year's draft, but I don't know. I think the free agency pool is so deep, and these guys are proven players. These guys are not misses. They have proven that they can do well, and I think some of the guys that are available could do well in our system. Not only that, but I think they can excel in our system. So we'll see. And yeah, so that's going to be it, guys. I am Skaggs with Chain 3. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.